In this video, we are going to discuss and demonstrate how to apply settings to individual loops that you may have created on your screen. And the first thing that you need to understand in order to apply settings is that you have to select a loop. And you select a loop by inserting this white progress indicator between the beginning and the ending loop point. And you do that simply by clicking with your mouse down here in the time area, and when you do that you can see that the progress indicator moves to exactly where you click. So if you want to select this loop, you simply click over here between the beginning and the ending loop points, and now you've selected it. Once you've selected a loop, then you can begin to apply different settings to it. And the four settings that you can apply to any loop are tempo, pitch, EQ, and vocal reduction. So for example, let's say that with this particular loop we want to change the tempo by reducing it to 50%, and that we want to change the pitch by increasing it 2 half steps or a full step. So we've applied those settings, and when we hover our mouse up here you can see that the pitch is +2 and the tempo is 50%. If we click outside of that loop, you can see that the pitch is 0 and the tempo is 100%, which are the default settings for the entire song. And again, if you were to use either the EQ or the vocal reduction, you could apply those settings as well to this loop point or to any other loop points that you might have set up on the screen. Once you have applied settings to individual loops, there is a way to edit those settings in one window, and that is again simply by selecting a loop. So let's select this loop. And as we'll recall, our settings are pitch change of 2 and a tempo change of 50%. So you've selected it. Let's go down here and select the Edit button. And once we do that, it opens an Edit Loop window. And within this Edit Loop window, there are a variety of things that you can change. And the first thing is the label. This loop is called L8. If you want to give that something besides this chronological designation, you can just simply overwrite this, and when you save it, it will change this to whatever you change it to. Let's go ahead and do that. Let's call it solo. The next thing that we can change are the beginning and ending loop points. As you can see, we have very exact and precise designations of the beginning and ending loop points to 4 digits, and you can change these, and when you change these it will obviously change the positioning of the loop points. So both of these again can be edited. Here are the pitch and tempo settings which we set down here. Pitch is +2 and tempo is 50%, and you can edit these two settings simply by overwriting or typing into this small form window here, and once you've done that, and then when you save the file later, those settings will be applied. The other thing here at the bottom that I wanted to explain is the playback parameters. We have both loop count and delay, and let me explain what those are. When you set up loops in SongSurgeon, by default the loops will loop indefinitely or continuously, and that's designated by this -1 number. If you change this to 0, it would be as if there is no loop there. It would not loop at all. It loops 0 times, in other words. If you change this to 1, it's going to loop once. So it's going to play through here, hit this end loop point, loop back to the beginning, play again, and then it will just skip that ending loop point as if it's not there and keep right on going. If you put in here 5, it will loop 5 times, and then it will play past that ending loop point after the 5th time and just keep on going until it hits the next loop point. So that's what the loop count is. You can designate the number of loops that you'd like it to play before it breaks out of the looping cycle. The delay is another setting that you can change, and the default on this is 0, meaning that when a song is playing and it is in a loop area, it essentially hits the ending loop point and immediately loops back to the beginning and starts to play again. But if you change the delay, which is in seconds by the way, it will actually hit the end, It will stop for the number of seconds that you've indicated, and then it will jump back to the beginning and it will start looping again. So if you put in here 1 or 10 or whatever you put in here, it's going to delay that amount of seconds once it hits the end before it then loops back to the beginning. So you can have this set as a -1, which would be an infinite loop, but with a 10-second delay, and that means that it would loop forever, but every time it looped it would hit the end and wait 10 seconds before it actually jumped back to the beginning and started to play again. So with that, we're going to conclude this video on how to set and how to edit some of the things that you can apply to loops found in Song Surgeon.